is preparing to live stream.
That's a Brian question.
Who?
Brian, the other Brian.
Why?
Hold on, I need to, where is it?
So she's gonna do it. We need during council.
Just gonna have to, she doesn't come here very soon.
I can. But she's not on finance, so. I mean, it's not that she would have to come, like, it'd be nice if she would.
Well, she.
This ain't what I want.
I'm gonna have to put her on.
Texted me like last week and asked, and I
There's what I want.
assuming, did Tammy stop here? Did Tammy stop over here regarding getting
Did like Friday during the day, I think.
about today's meeting?
She knows about today's meeting. I know that, because I saw her today.
Okay.
But we didn't discuss, now that I think about it, we didn't discuss times. I'm just wondering if she got,
She'll probably be here around 7.
yeah, that's what I think.
You know when you're ready, Brian.
I am now ready.
Okay. Yeah, I called your finance meeting to order. Roll call.
603. Keller,
Present.
McCreary,
Present.
Cosgray.
Present. Also, we have the mayor in Charter Region, Brian Holbert, VA, fiscal officer Brian, chief, and Debbie, a council member. Approval of the minutes of June 10th, 2023.
I reviewed the minutes.
Okay, do I hear a second? Oh, I second. I saw it too, and that's right. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, roll call.
McCreary,
Yes.
Keller.
Yes.
Yes, please turn on microphones and talk into them. You don't know how, I say that because when I go back to record the minutes, I have to and go back and forth like 15 times to finally figure out what's being said. So please.
Okay, visitors, anybody back? Anybody want to talk at the finance committee? Nope. Okay.
Did you sign in?
No, I won't.
Okay.
Okay, goal for 2023. We're gonna, I think Brian done a good job in the village. Keep staying within the 2023 appropriation. Old business. None. New business, review the monthly finance.
Okay. We end up with a bank and book balance of $2,731,819.62. Receipts last night was $350,313.90. Total payments last month, $461,458.34. The only reconciling note, as you see there, was we were getting low on postage. The one, I tried something new to pay for the postage online. Evidently, I did it twice because they,
It was so good.
because I saw the one and I thought, why am I $1,000 off about? Well, because there was a second one that came out. So I need to contact them to find out what they want me to do. Leave it there because we just have another $1,000 in postage, or give back. I'll probably just leave it there. But I'll have to, that needs recorded.
Did you do it before the forever stamps on that price?
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. You just put 1,000.
Doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't make any difference, but yes, I did it before the price increase. But it doesn't matter.
There, he don't buy stamps, what he does.
We have a
Send the
post.
letter out, whatever the postage is, then you pay.
It's happened.
We have,
Poor joke, but
yeah,
it's like,
yeah, I know what you're saying, but no, it just goes to that little postage machine there. So when they increase the rates, they just increase it. And
I think we're gonna use it. We're gonna use it. So.
yeah, as many certified letters as we got out the last 2 months, I'll just leave $1,000 there and make give them a call and find out what they want me to do. That's pretty much it for the reconciliation. You got any questions? Nope. Then on, let's see, a couple pages in is last month's check register. Like I said, we wrote $461,000 worth of checks. Of course, 186,000 of that was one payment on the 28th of June for the sewer plant, 186,000. Just 5 years left on that.
All right,
5 years left on that one.
nice to get that over with.
I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Oh, utility service company on page 4, 24th, that's our annual payment on the water tower. For those of you who were around before I started here, Chuck, you were
Yeah,
here.
I was here. Yeah, we read it.
They did a lot of work on the water tower, and Terry had talked them into making annual payments for over the next 10 years. 5 years worth was like 60-some thousand a year. And then now they're down to like, that ended a couple years ago. I think now it's down to like 24,000 for the next 5 years. Well, 3 years now, because this will be the second year on that. And then that water tower will be paid for.
Did we share the report that we got on the water tower?
Hmm?
Did we share the report that we got on the water tower? The recent inspection?
No, that's.
Okay.
The only other thing was,
Okay.
Where's that euro, that purple contract for 14,000? Sewer plant?
nope,
Is that
that was a water plant.
water plant?
This is something that I'm going to keep an eye on. This is basically whenever something electrical happens. Now, if you remember correct, this was for the brine pump. Was this for the brine
There's a
pump?
couple of things, but I think that was a big one.
Yeah, that was the big one. The brine pump went out. Electrical. If you remember when we hired Tim Little from Aero Electric, we did that to help save money because we were spending upwards to 150 to 200,000 a year on electrical companies to fix.
And he being an electrician,
And he was able to fix things, and we got it at a bargain. All we had to do is pay his wages. This is, since Tim's gone, this is the first thing that I'm surprised at the price, 14,000. So we haven't had too many of those yet.
so.
But
We'll be seeing something all the time
Good,
in.
we could.
Okay.
So that's something I'm going to keep an eye on. I don't want to overspend on electrical companies if we can. But that was the whole purpose of hiring Tim 4 or 5 years ago,
That's right.
which saved us a bunch of money,
Use his.
knowledge to fix things, and it saved us a lot of money over that time because we were spending a lot of money on electrical companies to fix our equipment. I don't think there's anything else.
Ag Pro, that LLC, that.
What,
We replaced our,
that was for the new, that was for, no, Gator,
No gator,
the Gator. Which was in?
12,007.
Yes, which while last week we received a check, insurance company for the stolen Gator.
Yeah.
It came back, what, half, about 50, half of the cost of the new one.
Really appreciate what we got back. Okay. I I don't have any more questions. Wait, or- Right.
Probably not.
Moving on to the metrics. Interest from Star Ohio, $2,300. Rita collections last month, 91,000. Revenues were still above the curve in the general fund where we should be at this time of year. 50%, yes. Of course, taxes and property tax will fall below that 50% starting next. Well, no, it'll still be at 50%, but
Revenue's almost good.
and as
Going down below, way down.
yeah, the expenditures in the major funds are below 50%. And if you look at the appropriation side, the appropriations report, even in total of all funds, it's less than, it was only 29%, so.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
So over a quarter, they were at a half, so.
But there's some slides that are gonna have to
Be adjusted.
be adjusted here before long.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the financial report.
I move to approve.
Any discussion on reports? Hearing none, roll call.
McCreary,
Yes.
Cosgray, Keller.
Yes. Okay. Motion passed. Anybody else have anything for finance committee?
I think.
We have it. A short and sweet one.
Would you like for me to talk a little bit about the compensation?
Sure.
review?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's still ongoing. I will share with you, and I'll share with all of council tonight. We have hired another operator for the wastewater facility. Okay, so we have 2 operators, not the same level at the water treatment plant, and 2 operators not the same level at the wastewater plant. So that's good, especially when I share with you all later the RCAP review that we received, assessment, the final assessment from the wastewater facility.
Deal with dollars.
It does.
Okay, well, you can.
The reason, well, I
Mhm.
want to give it to all the councils.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Did you hear me?
Well, I can, but it didn't look like,
Okay.
because mine.
We were in a band together. Mike's always kind of hog the microphone anyway.
Oh, gee.
But I say that because those folks, very qualified, very competent, very experienced, do not come to us cheap. And so that does have an impact on us financially. We also are looking at a couple of part-time positions. I shared with most of you, I think, and most of council. Both of those positions, I think, are going to enhance quite a bit the operation here at the village. One of them has to do, and I wanted to mention this because of the concern about the website, is, community. I've tried to come up with a title for the position, and the best I've come up with is social media communications liaison. Okay, it's someone who will take information for the village and post it on at least 3 social media, our website, and then you've got the other social media. Now, some of you may be saying, well, why do we have to do that? What's the importance of doing that? And again, it's to reach all aspects of the community across all generations so that all the information get to the people at the same time, all those different, because people watch different things.
Right.
They don't all.
Not everybody's on Facebook. Not
No.
all. So like, disseminating that information I think will be very beneficial to the community.
Right. So that's, we're balancing that is what we're trying to do. And we're gonna have some help also with our code enforcement and administrative help here in the office as well. By that part-time position. So that's what we're working on. And like I say, as far as financially, it's a balancing act. To, you know, and then we have some other people that I don't want to say they've been neglected, but maybe overlooked a little bit over the years. That we need to step up and make sure that we don't want to lose anybody that's good for us. So we'll make sure we can keep them. So that's ongoing as far as
Or easy stuff. Yes. Do you have any questions, Brian? Anybody else have anything on finance? Okay. The meeting's adjourned. The next meeting is August 14 at 6 o'clock.
No, I don't know.
She should be in there. She's on the roll.
Well, technically, you don't start till 6:45, so we can.
Yeah, you can't say it. It's just community hall, but it's for the 45.
And in case no one heard, I've appointed Rick, committee head of rules. I said I didn't ask him, I just told him.
He looks thrilled.
Yeah, I didn't really even see a point in a response. It was more like a, by the way.
He looks thrilled.
You are now.
I was appointed.
Yeah.
It's still logging in. Payback's nice.
I don't know why this thing, on the home thing pops up immediately every time. If I'm here, I walk in the door, I plug it in, it won't let me anything.
Well, I did open up.
That's not mine, usually doesn't work. I bring it in. Any other time the trackpad doesn't work.
My head in the way.
No, It's not, there we go. Why is,
You're muted.
I know,
We need to bring Debbie down so she can be in the camera. We don't have anybody down there.
Come on, Debbie, come on down.
I said who my name was.
Is it blue down?
Yeah.
Got part of his arm.
I might sneak in here during the week and just glue mine on down there.
Yeah. I was gonna change mine, but it's already, I can get it. He's already said that. I don't care. It don't matter.
All they do is see the back of the head.
Yeah.
all right, I know I hit recording.
See there at the bottom, which is stop video.
That's stop, that's just,
I know. But you may have to go down there and click that in order to go to start video.
you don't know how bad I hate this.
I know.
We have that maybe like this, exactly step by step.
I did know because when I did online teaching, it was horrible.
Why is it sitting up all of a sudden?
You're right, you're talking to the wrong person, you're talking to me.
Oh, my God.
Check your officially IT.
Yeah.
Is fire, please?
Yep, I got it. I'll have to make
Recording paused. I think if you go back up there.
There we go. Oh, wait, now it said recording stopped.
There, good play.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, I'd like to call the rules meeting officially to order. Can I get a roll call?
Schaffner,
Present.
Foreman.
Yes. Present. Okay, we have in attendance interim mayor Reilly, Chief Cussy, also Chuck Keller, Brandy, Wade Osgrave, fiscal officer Brian Holbrook, and a couple of visitors. Can I get approval of minutes from June 12th?
I move that we accept the minutes as written from June 12th.
And we'll have a second.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 minutes seconds. Okay, we have a couple of visitors in the room.
Okay, I got vote.
Roll call. Call vote, yes.
Schaffner,
Yes.
Foreman.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we have a couple of visitors. Would either of the visitors like to speak at this time? Okay, goals, 2023 goals. We had employee evaluation forms. We tabled that because Brian wasn't ready yet. Where's Brian?
Making copies of something.
Okay. Might be related to that, so I guess we'll hold up for Brian. Okay, Ryan, in the agenda, we're to the employee evaluation forms, and we tabled that last meeting. Wait, giving you a chance to get acclimated.
17 different versions of evaluations, performance or employee evaluations, 15 versions of, how is it worded, performance evaluations. That's what I found. So that's what I'm sorting through. Yeah, it's still a work in progress. I think I tried to explain too that one of the things I want to try to do is tie the job description, which should be relevant to the performance evaluation, tie those together so that you're actually evaluating someone for the job that they're supposed to be doing. So I want to make sure that the wording is consistent from those job descriptions that we announce when we go to hire someone, whatever position it might be, so that we can be fair and consistent in what we do as far as an evaluation.
Half of them are too new to you.
There's quite a few of us that are very new. So, yes.
I guess that should probably wait. Do we want to leave that on, to revisit next meeting? Okay, we'll leave that on there to revisit.
We'll try to do more on it and have something relevant next time.
Okay, and then, we were working on finalizing the VA job description. We were kind of waiting to see who the players were, to see what their strengths were and what other duties needed to be maybe shifted to other personnel. I'm imagining that's probably also still a bit of a work in progress.
It is. Madam Mayor and I spoke about it this afternoon, and she had some thoughts on it. We had found some, I guess, prerequisite work that we were kind of looking at together. So yes, that's still something that we're looking at.
Okay, moving on, old business, we had the alleys, I believe Ms. Crawford was.
I brought it up.
Questions about that?
So I did go back and look at the maps. At the abandoned alleys. So the abandoned alleys were in red, is that correct?
It's kind of an orange, yes, that's my understanding. The ones that were in at GIS that they were aware of.
Then, again, we had this discussion about the alley there on Falls, that goes between Falls Street. 3/4 of the way back to High Street. And Terry had told me at one point that that was not a setup. So is anything that's not abandoned? So I guess and I know you don't know the answer to this too either, but I don't understand I guess the different degrees. So like it's not abandoned, but it's not,
It's unimproved,
it's not yours. Or not the villages, right?
because there's valleys, there's unimproved alleys, and there's abandoned alleys.
Sure. And what she told me was that because it had not shown any maintenance on it for the last so many years, it wasn't our alley. And I mean, to me, the fact that we've neglected any kind of maintenance on it does not just automatically make it from our alley. So I don't know, I guess maybe I should bring this up as my own personal thing for my alley, and then if anybody else has any problems with their alleys.
There's where they had to fix there on the street, West Maple, where I live. It was where Tim had done some work over there. There is a strip of land that goes between the residents on this side, the residents on this side, and it goes up through that swath where the flooding was taking place.
It's unimproved alley.
Correct. And someone asked me who's supposed to mow that. So it's the same situation. I'm interested to know also so I can advise and kind of share with them what I
Well,
learned.
it's gravel, but it's because the residents are literally paying to put the gravel in, and that's what I'm trying to fight against. That I don't think they should be having to pay to maintain the alley if it's a village alley. That's my concern.
And I know the residents that live near me, my neighbors in that area, they are mowing it because no one else knows it, but it's not theirs. And they've brought that up. So,
And if we abandon it, it basically gets split, this guy will get half of it, that guy will get half of it. So a lot of people treat them like part of their yard and nobody cares. Oh, that's
Have
really
some
bad.
parking in my alley. And I know we've had that problem down the street, on Nelson Street as well. So I guess I'm not sure locally what we can do, because we don't know if there's problems with all alleys or if she just the ones that there might be an issue with the particular individual.
And I think the other thing to consider before we get too far down that path is what utilities are available. What access do we have to utilities because of that alley? there may be sewer lines, there may be,
I have a drain in my backyard.
Yeah,
and
so
it's-
that's another thing to consider.
Yeah, I have a drain in my backyard, so, obviously. It's a good idea.
Well, I know my alley that I made when I moved in, it was all grass. But there's power lines and there's cable. And I remember when I lived there, the cable man used to drive back. Of course, sometimes he drives up. So I come to the village and ask if I can open it partway and put my shed back there. And they said yes. But to open it or to gravel it, I had to open it to their specs. I had to go down so far, put big rock in, then put limestone in, and do it by the village spec. Now, I didn't open the whole of the alley. I just opened what I wanted. So part of it's
Is
for,
it a village alley?
yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Unimproved alleys, if you want it open, you have to bring it up to village specs. It's on you to do that. The village doesn't do it for you. Because I've done the same thing. I was building a house and it was unimproved alleys and I wanted to be able to get access to the property through the alley. So we improved the alley, the width of 2 lots, and then stopped. It got to where we needed to get and we stopped. Now, officially, at that point, the alley is, the village is supposed to take over maintenance of the alley, but we've pushed the priority of maintaining alleys to the bottom because so many streets need to take priority above the alley. So technically, once it's brought up to specs, are we supposed to maintain that? Yes, but do we? We have made it like last on the priority list because the streets are always first.
Well, while I agree with that, I also don't agree that the resident should pay money to maintain the village alley.
Well, I mean, by the same token, there's residents that, like, for instance, over half of my front yard is in the right of way. But I mow it. It isn't mine. When you look at my property line, it's almost even with my front porch.
Well, mowing, bringing in gravel
Right.
for now is a little bit different, I guess.
I guess.
Let me find out where your alley is that you're talking about.
I mean, it's gonna be easy if you go that street, it goes right in front of my house, the one-way street, where they have now like a culvert essentially. You drive over it, it's right there, it's that swath of land that goes from West Maple and the head towards Washington. And then it meets up with, there is an alley that goes back in behind, lands, yeah.
Maybe I can get together with me when somebody take a look at it, just to see what, because I guess, again, my concern is if there are alleys that are being deemed not the villages, just because we did, see, this goes in a circle, and, and if there are alleys that are being deemed not the villages, simply because we haven't maintained them for the last 25 years, I don't find that to be a good reason.
Well, an alley's an alley, regardless of who maintain it or not. If it's an alley, it's an alley.
The unimproved alley is still an
It's
alley.
an alley, it belongs to the village.
And so we should be maintaining them.
No, I think homeowners, they pay tax on half of that, they can mow it. If it's not open, if it's grass, why
Well,
wouldn't they
I'm
mow
not
it?
even talking about grass, I guess, but
But if they put gravel on it and they're using it, I don't see any wrong for a resident to use it if he's.
the residents are being told that it's not the village's out and they have to maintain it themselves. That's my issue about it. When the village is saying, it's not ours, when it is, because then they don't want to maintain it, you're gonna have to maintain it. I don't find that to be appropriate in any way.
Having the village is telling them that.
Well, it was the former village ministry.
And there might, what you said earlier, I think is important, the definition of what's an abandoned alley, what's an unimproved alley, and what it actually is an alley. Because they're different levels, and an abandoned alley is no longer our responsibility, clearly.
That belongs to the 2 adjacent
And my
property owners.
alley is not an abandoned, I just looked, is not an abandoned alley.
So it's an actual official alley and it has been improved. And so at that point, the village isn't maintaining it to someone's standards, so they're intervening and maintaining it themselves. But we have never put alleys on the list of paving projects because we had too many streets on the list of paving projects ahead of that. They were more important. There are a lot of alleys in town that are in bad shape. And so, I mean, we don't even rank the alleys when it comes to the condition. Whereas we do rank all the streets are ranked as to how bad, from best to worst. So the ones that we need to pave next are ranked so that we know where to focus our attention. But the alleys have not even been surveyed or ranked in the same manner that the streets are. So whose alley is worse? We'd have to go figure that out. Like people's standards from one alley to another might be wildly different than their expectations. So before we can decide who gets paved or who gets their alley worked on, we really need to see who's worse first. And do we really want to even go down that road? Council, in the time I've been here, council has decided they don't want to go down that road. But maybe a majority of council is going to change.
Maybe some pictures would help to, I mean, bring photos to show exactly what it is.
I'll get together with Brian on my alley and do it more of a non-council business
Like a one-off.
right now. And
One of those pesky citizens complaining. No, we don't mind that at all. We'll take a look at it, but I think understanding, first of all, who benefits by them improving the alley? I mean, they're improving it for their own use, which I understand because they need to use the alley for whatever reason. I get that. We have probably as many road surfaces that could be alleys as we do streets. They're not as wide or not as big, but if you go to literally any neighborhood, there's alleys that are either unimproved or they're actually being used as alleys. So there's plenty of alleys. My point is, if we start to try to keep up with all those, it's going to be a lot.
I get that. Again, my concern is when a resident comes in and says, I have an alley that's got potholes, it's a mess, and we would like to have the gravel put on it, and they're told it's not our alley. So you have to do it when it is the village's alley. That's my
Like somebody
concern.
misspoke when they said it's not our alley. It probably is our alley. It sounds like it definitely is our alley. But as I said, when it came to street paving projects, Water Street wasn't the worst street in town, but I was all in favor of paving Water Street because almost everybody in town uses it. So when you start, to me, that's the other qualifier, is one person using that alley and complaining about the potholes, or is half the town using that alley and really needs it to be a product of special.
Well, in this particular case, too, I hate to make this about mine, but people do use it, but it's not just one person. It's at least 3 people who use it back there. So then which one is responsible?
With access to the garages.
Okay.
That's it. I'll give it
Okay,
to Brian.
moving on. That was old business. Are we gonna take that off then for next meeting? Have we covered that sufficiently or leave it on there?
Leave it on for now and then we'll see.
Might be a Jeff question.
When I talked to Jeff briefly about this, he said rules was the place it should be.
No, I'm talking about Jeff.
Oh,
question
Yeah.
to
Okay.
address the alley issue.
Okay, new business. Does anybody have any new business to bring for the rules committee? Hearing none, the next meeting will be held on second Monday in August 14th, at 6:45 PM. We're immediately following the finance committee. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
You do. I do do adjourn.
40 seconds. All in favor?
My apologies. I did not realize the meeting was getting ready to start, but I do try to steal every minute I can sometimes. Very often, so.
45 minutes till now anyway.
You know, what is going
Oh,
on?
that's right.
I need to stop the video. Because
Is anybody else getting this? these emails from Andrea Bailey.
A lot of down.
Yeah, like, is this something you get a junk?
I think so.
I just want to make sure I start sending these to junk mail. Andrea Bailey, it's all about funding resources to solve it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. Okay, all right, just want to make sure, because I just understand that. I'm not saying that the order, I just didn't know if that was something legit. or efficient.
Did I need bottle water or anything?
Okay.
Did we hear from the elusive council person Liz?
She's coming at 7.
I found out something.
Wait
about
till
her.
the second meeting.
I found out something about her the other day that's very interesting. She's a red devil.
Is she really?
Yes, she is.
Taking over this joint.
I guess so.
What is a red dove?
Mary Franklin Red Devils.
From there?
Yeah. You know that rural high school in Columbus.
You know.
It's off Lockwood Road.
Used to be farm there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Chief was going to school there, I think. When
Yeah, I rode a horse down there every day.
My parents were school. A few years before you were doing
no problem.
You guys have been down the south end lately, you know.
Yep, all the time.
I probably should. I own a business there. I should probably go see it once in a while.
It's pretty, it's pretty interesting.
Parsons Avenue is wildly different.
Oh, boy.
Where I got my hair cut the other day.
Yeah, I mean, children, if you can't get the neighborhood improved, just buy it. Bought off that entire neighborhood.
We, when I was a kid, I mean, the rules were we could ride our bicycles, but we weren't allowed to go any further north than east.
Oh, wow.
So we could go up, our big deal at that point, was go up there to Bob Chevrolet, look at new cars and stuff. I think we were like 13, 14 years old. We really thought we were doing something. Yeah, and tool back down the road. And,
And let's cross over 70 off the Livingston and Maine.
no,
Oh, okay. You said Maine. I thought you
no, I'm not Parsons Avenue
to Livingston.
to Livingston. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say, they let you cross over 70 and go over.
No.
I was drawing the line at Livingston, I think.
There was the only thing really north there that used to intrigue me was it's called Mr. Something's Clothing. Remember that? I'm telling you what, it was.
You grew up on Parsons Avenue?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, that
Yeah, my Buckeye.
It's like good Nashville, but
Buckeye Field's
our
done.
family was from the south end.
Yeah, I used is where their store was.
Have you been to
We were
Roadport
down
Pike
there
and
all the
Parsons?
time.
That's all warehouses now. They're building new warehouses.
My dad sent me down to that store one day and he wanted me to go down and get 2 cans of white paint. And I rode down on my bicycle. And then I went, how exactly? Because that's what everybody with bicycle handlebars like this, you know. I come back at these things, they're dangling. I mean, it.
Fuller O'Brien paint. I had people wonder how I learned how to do a lot of it. I was mixing paint at like age 14. Fuller O'Brien.
Kelly's Market.
Okay, I'll just
That's
email
our
it.
place too.
They're still there.
Yeah, that's a block from our business.
You know, the old trailer parks are kind of gone.
Yeah.
The one is still there, the real bad one, but the others are gone.
Williams Road, there's still a couple.
Yeah.
Trailer parks.
Yeah, right there on the same block as our business.
And of course, across the street where the South Swim Club used to be.
Yeah.
That one.
Soda.
Is that old?
Saddle Fool.
We don't have a chance to hear me south yet. You guys got a message for, I don't know, I don't want to. Someone's just out there. We should not get an act for a kid.
Bobby, how much go Bobby?
He's gone 76 for the year.
I, everyone I've been.
Yeah, I get it.
I've given them time.
He,
Yeah, I just thought maybe.
I actually did play in a band all through high school.
I just told.
And Bobby was a trumpet player. So I knew him from music and all kinds of stuff. But I'm telling you what, that was the place. If you want to go anywhere, that was cheap to get a membership.
You guys want copies of the?
I think I got. Is there more than what's on our computer?
No, but I've got this too. This is part of the zoning code that says what you can.
So
Just pay attention to general business.
I know. I think
MRV.
that's why this liaison, that would be good. There, this,
You remember the
for me,
Dairy Queen on South High Street?
probably,
It was up by Alcott Road, coming south, north, and east side of the trail. all the way.
I don't remember the Dairy Queen.
Well, that Dairy Queen, that's the first job I ever had. I worked in there, learning how to do Dairy Queen twist.
Just because. No, but you know what I'm saying, though. Just for those people.
Howard's Auto Parts.
When you go home.
I was there.
I think what I'm trying to hear is that's so green. There was
And
a
then that
reason.
Lawson's, you remember the old Lawson's, that's where, the pros belong. Richard King killed her.
I think it'll be.
That
That's what I thought. He said, hey,
was big, that was a big.
I
Google
totally
that
get it. It's
sometime,
like,
Richard
Helen and
King.
I had to do.
Because the last time I was there, they had pictures from all over the South End,
It's-
places that he was supposedly a kid and relatives and all that stuff. It's pretty wild.
I still go up there to, Columbus Pike and get steel.
Oh, is that right?
I've started, they're still there too.
So many hours.
They still write up invoices on the one where you crank the invoice out. They do, I kid you not. They will not join the 20th century.
There's a lot
Yeah,
of
'cause I
people
printed
out
this off.
there.
But you know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
you know,
That's
they-
like-
We're right there, you know where Kozak and Parsons is, come across the bayou.
This is Franklin International.
It's not.
Yeah.
We got Franklin International.
Yeah.
Right there on the corner, there used to be like a little bar kind of thing. But they didn't have, when you walked in, they didn't have anything in
Maybe.
it. It was a
I would have like.
booking
Howard's
place.
gonna-
Oh, okay.
And that's, so everybody was running numbers out.
If you're unfamiliar, where are you?
So across the street from that back in the day was Champion Auto Parts. And, I worked at,
And financial reports, you would have to have.
the year I graduated high school, I went to work for Champion Auto Parts.
Over here.
And I worked for them
Make some
for
announcements.
a year or so. Then I started welding.
I think
But-
it's called Hyde.
I'll tell you what, that was a great place to grow up.
It's like a small town.
Oh, it was.
Familiar.
My wife's
That was
scared
the
to death.
first thing when they come
I'm like,
out.
Rob, it's just a small town. It's a small town. It's not the
I know
same.
this
Well,
is
you know,
not-
everybody knew everybody because you had Buckeye Steel, you had Federal Glass, you had Owens,
I
Illinois.
know.
And my dad worked at Owens. So all my friends worked at Owens. Their dads worked at one of those three. Played ball together, did everything together.
Supplied material.
Yeah.
Still do the Franklin International.
I've still got cousins that live down there. They'd never leave. So,
I don't think, and none of my family, I had a house there on, behind the trailer park there. South of. Where the monument thing was. There was a gas, an old gas station out. Right before I met Robin, I was the only family member that still lived in the neighborhood there.
I drive by the house I grew up in and I look at it and then I always remembered as a kid to see it in a big house. I drive by with this thing, it's like,
We lived in that.
This PNC thing.
what do you mean, God?
I thought the C was commercial when.
Permitted and conditional. P is permitted, C is conditional. There should be a little key on here, so.
There's, oh, well, it says right. Duh.
I think you're.
Permitted and conditional.
That's
dangerous.
They put you over there, see if you can calm those two down.
I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm so sure.
I did too.
Usually I hear
There's a block from both.
silence and like,
Yeah, when John.
is it on? I didn't.
You have to tear down at this point.
It's on the right.
So this is.
Yeah, you get a chance to drive by.
Yeah. I haven't, because I came to market, so I.
We don't wash it, they're really stuck. They don't have an idea yet.
Like I said, it was very, there was a real interesting. And they were shopping when they heard. So they noted really strong.
Well, right now, they're just, you know, they don't. So, I'll tell you what, that could have been really bad. Really bad. I was told 4.
And there were no residents, nobody, nothing.
Walnut and,
I was trying to think how close the house is that's behind that property.
I would say it can't be much more than that.
Dwellings.
Yeah. But you know, I never even.
And then there's the barn.
Yeah, it should be. I didn't see him do anything there. So, I didn't look at that other house right behind it.
I haven't, with the heat, I would wonder, and then the house even that's on that corner is, it's right there on that corner lot, so. I mean,
Because I get off at.
the front porch and that yellow house is on the corner.
It may be right around 4:15.
You know, we have dodged so many bullets for some of these houses. You know, a lot of these old houses, especially ones in the flats. Old. 20 years old. Get fired, I'm not gonna say.
It's been a while. I retired in 16.
Thank you.
16.
My wife has a date on the calendar, I couldn't tell you what it is.
Yeah. Very important population. That's 65 at the time.
Listen,
And by the way, that's the
I was
house.
shocked about they were able to salvage the house there. Tear down.
They, the guy that lived there works up at the driveway.
But I,
And every time I go through, he has to tell me what the story is. But I mean, it's so jumping. They had some group come in. All you gotta do is- And they were ready to go. They realized, had the first realization of how much it was cost. I thought it was funny that they gave like 20,000 or something like that. You know what I did?
They've taken
Yeah, well, I used to stop. First time I was in there, he was telling about some guy that was living on the
yeah,
basement.
it's really,
And I get over there and I'm like, what's the story? And when he tells me, here's about my niece moved in to take care of me, and now she's got some guy living over there. And it's like, I'm upstairs. And it's like, you know, and he was having a little hard time getting around. There won't be, when I make it.
It'll come to me later. Well, we had that.
It has about a decent, oh, that is small. And she said, oh, who do you think might get you off onto? And I said, well, it's not. And they're saying, then I found out that offering
It was a whole year.
then I was like, you know, now there's product. You ever had an?
The whole area, as you probably know, the whole area used to be upstairs. It was in pretty good shape. But I was over there on a runaway, because we used to get runaways out of White. So that's where they were. And we went over there. And I said, well, let me come in and check, make sure they're not there, because if not, why don't we easily come down here and that's really ugly. Like, okay. Walk in there and it's like,
In the morning. And
you
after
know,
the
I've never seen someone.
and then the person talked to said.
If there was a space you could, like you saw, I've never seen so much junk and garbage in a house in my entire life.
Let me talk to Heather when I go in there in the morning. And then I'll try to.
Some of them you think, and knowing the person for years, you think they're a certain way, you're gonna get
Well,
Well, it's all cleaned up now. I mean, I was over there talking to county yesterday, and like, they have, it's literally, I think this is the ninth dumpster between concrete, wooden stuff, just random items. The basement was packed with things.
are those little kids still coming up to the house? Yeah.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
I know.
Those little boys. Are there adults in there?
Well, chronologically.
I was on, I just got back. But I was just saying that she's.
You don't. Did your kid buy a?
Going six.
Oh.
Yeah, that is probably right.
She. I've got one of them. She was the ground and we were in the sort of the time I said that.
They almost get hitters. Because don't hang out on that little street. People come down Liberty. They got the attention.
I had somebody came to me and was asking me about it. And I said, we made a referral to children's services. That's all we did.
Yeah.
And then we made some arrests. So
You have to stand up and raise your right hand.
but make long story short, the story that came back to me was these kids were getting up at 7:30. And then they were feeding them like 2.
I just went on one.
Oh, did you? And
We went,
I just, you know, I was just.
we took a few days last week, went down to Myrtle Beach. Hot. Yeah, but I haven't been able to play because I've done something to my leg and I. I haven't been down there for a few years. We just found a place. A resort on the ocean that was half price. It was like $100 a night. No, so we went down for 3 or 4 days.
I'm still alive.
Like that, like 3 or 4 days. We need.
I was probably low numbers.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. Oh, that's probably booked. I was like, damn.
Would you remember if it was north or south?
It was right near the downtown central. It was like it was the south part of town. Yeah. It was just a few blocks from where the Ferris wheel.
You know, it's funny, there's still Damon's ribs down there.
I saw that. I saw that. I didn't see it, but
It's the original Damon.
okay.
Yeah, you go down there again, try it. It's like the Damons that used to be down to Mall and Jane.
No, it's not cheap. Not to eat down there.
No.
I'll get you a copy. This is what.
There's a million places.
Well, yeah.
I think so. This.
We always go to
No,
the
this is
barefoot
all
landing.
many
with
times.
solutions and stuff.
Went there.
Jimmy Buffett's
Cause you're
sister has a big restaurant, Blue Moons.
Yes.
So,
Lulu's is there. There's a nice Mexican place right next door.
yes.
Went on the boardwalk. But the last couple of days, I spent most of my time on the beach. I must have kept enough sunscreen. I didn't get burnt, so.
Did you drive down?
Yes.
I don't mind that drive either.
No, that drive's not as bad as it used to be.
No, I don't think so. I go through the tunnels and
Yeah.
doing stuff. What, is there people managing this now or is it just?
No, there's people painting it.
Is there?
That's $4.25.
That's crazy.
2 years ago, it's $2
I
inside.
don't know. There's a million trucks on that turnpike too, boy. Misty like it down there, does he?
Yeah.
You know, I like Florida, but it's less expensive than Florida.
Well, I used to come here.
That's gonna get used.
So it's easier for me to bring in comments.
Speaking of that,
Sure.
Right
Her-
here, facing.
not her laptop. We gotta get a hold of Mike. To set her up. I've got that iPad thing.
Yeah, they did that so you could sell.
Those quick tablets. There's one in the office that Debbie doesn't use.
So there's another example. One is approved. You have to get- The alley.
What's that?
Even the streets, right? If you want a street where there's one planet, so on there, it's on you to bring it down.
We went back to it. Elmwood, he didn't want to.
I think we should.
Would you get it?
You have the building, so then they take care of it.
We'll do this now.
Council's after this. After both of them. So. Then I do that and then
Nothing ever matter here.
Keith, do you have a write-up?
Is that where you're not out by yourself?
Send me your report.
They had 20 applications. Did you hear how many applications you had? Yeah, 20 applications. Like, when Mindy made them available, we had 20 applications.
Oh, my word.
Well, no, you're on top of the base. I need to send you.
There's a new piece of 3-bedroom.
I got to save the file.
Is that what it is?
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think they're nice.
Try to rent out some place, a nice place in Baltimore. Let's try. Get them built.
I didn't get that.
No, I didn't get it to you.
It's saved, right?
It is saved. I can get it to you. Go right now.
Oh, you didn't save it in your normal flow, like council?
I can save it over there.
Okay.
I want to get pistol grip.
I'm not crazy about it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't mind a pistol grip. I don't like the big stock on it though, with the pistol.
Oh, you like the folder with the zero ammo?
You can't have luck for that.
I know, that's a good deal. Really.
Oh. I don't want that. Why?
Sorry for all the paper, but I didn't get everything. Brian. Get it to you. We'll get down a few today. One on the Romulus.
Thanks for the report. This will help understand. Explain a lot of things.
The thing about our campus, they're going to be going to.
Yeah.
Well, later this month, we got all kinds of things. Water treatment, our wastewater is really,
That's probably a good resource on those meters and all that.
they are.
That's the primary.
Yes. Damon Roberts, yeah.
Keep bad water out of here.
Yes. He talked to me a little bit about the flushing, the what they call directional flushing of the hydrants, those kinds of things. Those are all things that are going to help our water. We're reluctant to do it now. We've had some discussions about flushing the hydrants,
We could make our current problem worse if we're not careful.
and we've got the pool to consider because if that water starts to get, our filters are going.
Jeff. Did you send Jeff? Jeff usually here by now.
This was one, maybe seven.
He knew it was a simple thing, so maybe he's the smart one. I'm gonna leave. Give me double check. I mean, at this point, he's either on his way or he's not. He's gonna be here. He's not, so. I talked to him today, and I'm sure he said he'd see him. So he had 17. There's enough people in this room to blame.
Perfect.
Why not?
First order of business is signing.
You know, I told,
I'm telling you.
but you know, I told Brian, the most asked question in this room, council, is this thing on? Ours on. We might need batteries.
We had nothing to say.
Might need batteries. Did you turn it off? Then what's the GR3? It's got Wi-Fi. Indicator, but I don't have to tell the batteries. Does it tell you
What's that?
if you need a battery?
No, if it goes off, that means your battery's dead.
If it goes off, tell the battery. Yeah, that sounds like my girlfriend's car. Yes, I need a battery.
I don't know what's going on. I know I hit recording.
And then it starts, it is recording.
Well, that's what it says, but she usually tells me
She
recording.
announce it.
And then she'll say paused again.
Is your volume down?
No.
There's a delay on it.
There's a delay in it.
I'm trying to get that to start recording so we start the public meeting. It says it's recording, but it never made the announcement.
Yeah, see, it says recording pause. See?
Should have a play button there. You go.
Right.
Aaron.
See? Why is there a delay? I don't understand this whole. There we go.
7:15, I'm going to start the meeting for the public hearing of an ordinance to rezone 0 North Main Street from general business to mixed residential village district. We have some,
We need roll call first.
we need roll call, please.
Osgray,
Present.
Foreman,
Present.
Keller,
Present.
Litz,
Present.
McCreary,
Present.
Schaffner.
Present.
And we have, dun. And then next on the agenda, that's right, I did this today. On the agenda, we need to approve the agenda, which is the public hearing notice. So we'll need
I
a
have an approval for the agenda, which will be, well, hold it up, please.
Okay, read it to you. Purposes to do properties is requesting zone district change from general business to mixed residential village district to accommodate two proposed duplexes.
I move that we accept the agenda as proposed.
Foreman seconds.
Roll call?
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Schaffner, McCreary.
Yes.
Next on the agenda.
Is, I guess to open the,
Okay, we're opening the floor to visitors. Anyone want to address the public hearing?
I'm Sherry Evans. I live at 201 East Rome Street. And I came to a meeting, the last meeting of zoning. They can hear me like everybody else. That's
all right.
And the zoning committee said that they were going to talk about it and then vote on it on the 13th. And they had that special hearing that nobody in the neighborhood knew about. And I want to know why we weren't notified about the special hearing they had for changing the zoning over.
That was posted.
that was posted.
Where you got to go to get posted, like you got to be on the web page, or you got to keep track, or
No, there's,
send out letters. Do they? What do they do?
I'll let you answer that since you take care of it.
It gets posted in 5 public spaces. It gets posted at the library, the bank, post office out front here, and Schaffner's. Those are the 5 places.
Visit one of those places.
It's
to
published
know.
there, and there's supposed to be letters gone out, but I'm pretty sure letters went out, but I don't know on that part.
But they said they were going to look into it and vote on the 13th. So why did they have that special hearing? If they told I had like 10 people with me the last time, and it was everybody in the neighborhood, and everybody in the neighborhood said, no, we really don't want the zoning changed. And Kenny, and I don't know where they're at, they're not here today, said that they were going to look into it and then vote on it on the 13th. And then all of a sudden-
No.
That's what he said.
That was wrong. The public hearing was June 19th, and that was a special BZA meeting.
BZA meeting.
Yeah,
Why didn't they tell us that instead of saying the 13th?
I don't know why. I can't answer that
I
question.
don't believe they knew that. At the council meeting, Mr. Jude came in and he was explaining it to us. And it was decided because he's waited so long that he didn't really have a month. To get that information.
Was it been voted on?
We
Has
were
it been-
in our second.
BZA approved it.
Meeting today.
The BZA approved it on June the 19th, and council held the first reading of that ordinance 2 weeks ago. Second reading is tonight. That's why we're having a public hearing now.
So it's not an ordinance yet.
Zoning committee. I don't know. How do you vote them? Because I don't know. I mean, they're like, isn't it up to the residents? I mean, it seems like they were more for themselves than the guy. When you got everybody in the neighborhood saying, no, we don't want it. And then they turn around and they're trying, and they're passed.
You understand though that he could possibly put a bar there
I
or a
don't care.
gas station?
Yeah.
That would be more of a traffic issue for you.
Baltimore's kind of fickle though. They've got all kinds of stuff that's tried to go back there, hadn't they?
Oh, I don't know that, sorry.
And so that's, I just, let me get my list, because it seemed like every time they opened their mouth, they were giving us Bart Clevenger syndrome. So it's, lips are moving. It's just kind of everybody, and I don't have anybody here today because they all had plans. They didn't know anything about it, and I tried to go out and tell them, and they all had plans. So kind of, all right, well, so basically the residents in that area don't have any say. Well, but I'm the only resident that came because
Well-
everybody, I couldn't get anybody else, so I had 10 behind me before. And now it's just me, it kind of just makes me look like a big butt, you know, so.
I think I would still take the floor though and share with us. I'm on planning and zoning. I wasn't at that meeting because that was a BZA meeting,
Yeah,
but we still want to hear what you have to say.
everybody was against it. And it was back in our neighborhood. I mean,
And
the whole neighborhood.
if you could tell, share a little bit more as to.
Because they put in a makeshift road that they ran Romulus down to an alley. It hasn't been a road in 120 years since they built back there. It's never been a road. And they had the previous owner, Mock, the town made him put a road in. So is the road going to hold up with all the traffic? It can only go to the alley. Half the property in the back is fenced off. It's in the alley. Where's the road? How are they going to have access back into the apartments? You know, I mean, there was just a list of stuff.
I know some of that was discussed at the last meeting in terms of access. That's what we were talking about.
I know they got the alley that runs in front of or behind the oil can, and then there's supposed to be one that comes up the oil can and comes across over to Romulus, but they haven't had that in either. You know, I mean, they didn't put that alley in. Are they going to stick that alley in too for access into it? You know, because that's
There's another side street there or alley that I know that we had discussed in terms of it would provide access. Now, what have you been told in terms of the number of units?
4.
Okay. That's correct.
2 houses, 2.
Two doubles.
2 great big huge ones that will be sitting back there because they're like 3-bedroom and they're big. So I went over and looked at the other one and they're going to be kind of crammed back in there. So,
Do you see that there would be any benefit to property values?
I think they'll go down. I don't think, apartments like that, Baltimore's already a running capital of Fairfield County and stuff, you know?
I believe they're going to be well maintained from what we've heard. So again, knowing that we've seen the model that's already over at the end of the mill.
Yeah. It's only been up how long? Not very long. Yeah.
Last year.
Okay, yeah, it's well maintained. It's new.
So, but, depending upon the individuals that move in there, so if you go 4 units, 2 cars per unit, approximately 8 cars, that could potentially be accessing that property. So let's say average about 8 cars, 6 to 8 cars, somewhere in there. The dwellings, I think also to think about the potential for the increase in property values around those with the structures. If there were to be another business, say Dollar General or something, you would have high traffic.
I don't know what to say. All I know is the residents said they didn't want it, and it doesn't make a difference what the residents feel.
No, I think we need to hear everything.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to present both sides because I'm hearing, so it sounds to me like that you're saying the temporary road seems like it wasn't satisfactory.
The guy slapped it in there in like 2 days. I live right on it because that was part of my yard that we've mowed for 100 years.
Okay.
And one day he cut down all the trees and then put this road in, and we were like,
The street supervisor oversaw it. And
huh?
The street supervisor made sure it was built in spec. He was there while they were building it.
So basically, the residents don't have any say.
So if it were up to the residents, what would they prefer? To just remain a vacant lot?
I don't know. I'm the only one resident, and I really hate seeing apartments going back there.
So what you're saying is you would prefer private residents?
A private residence would be fine. You know, one single family. You know, somebody that owns the property instead of renting. That would be great. You know.
Do you have a lot of rentals around there?
I don't know. I'm a runner off at my aunt's. So yeah, me. Yeah. No, we got a lot of homeowners. There's I think I'm probably not the only rental, maybe. And I got lucky because it's my aunt, she rented it to me. Everybody else is landowner or house owner, as far as I know.
That's something we have to look at. I do not know.
Do you know if the planning and zoning next week is going to talk about this again?
Did we have a meeting on the 13th?
I see you do have a meeting on the 13th. They told me the 13th.
13th is our regularly scheduled meetings.
Because they told me that they were going to discuss it and then vote on it on the 13th. And then everybody was like, oh, and we all put it all on our phones. And then you posted around town that they have a special hearing, which I don't go to Schaffner's. I don't go to these places to know when the meetings are. I think they could use a better way of letting people know. Because if you don't patronize the Fast Daddies or the post office or, you don't.
That's actually something that's conversation we're working on.
Because, we didn't
Where
have,
then would you suggest, where do you access?
I don't know. I mean, like,
Because
you
that's
could
gonna help.
send out a letter to all
them.
everybody, regardless whether they're a renter like me, because I'm sure my aunt might have gotten one.
I mean, not to get offline because the notices were to go out, they were posted. It is online, but we're trying to make sure that it's more readily accessible and visible to everyone. So
And all of our meetings are public. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago that this was discussed at. Every single meeting is public. There's never been a private meeting.
Yeah, but how do you know they're having a meeting if you don't even know there's having, go up there and look and.
no, it's the same day. So it's every month. It's the second Monday and the fourth Monday of every month. Yeah. And the meetings generally start, so this is a special hearing that started at 7:15, but generally council begins at 7:30.
So then the 13th is zoning meetings.
PNZ, planning and zoning.
Okay.
Well, it's the second Thursday of every month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the second, so it's not
Yeah.
always on the 13th.
And we went a while without having meetings because we did not have an agenda. Usually those kind of happen when we have items that need to be tended to.
Okay, well, I feel that the residents don't really have any say because we came in and put in our 2 cents and they went, didn't listen to any of us.
I think that's why though there's another meeting. We want people to be able to say and hear what your thoughts are.
That'd be the 13th.
Yes, 13th is going to be planning and zoning. I'm assuming, are we doing 7? Mr. Holbrook, 7?
So it's already been voted in that you guys are
No,
already.
we are still in the process of talking about things.
Okay.
So this
But
is still process.
It's out of zoning though. It's been forwarded on up to council. They've had the first reading of the
And
ordinance,
so far it's been,
one reading,
okay.
and the second reading is tonight.
Tonight.
And the third reading will be 2 weeks from tonight. So
24.
24th,
So it
yes.
doesn't matter if we go to the zoning meeting, it's the 24th we need to come to and have everybody stand here.
And discuss, yeah,
Bring everybody
Before the
with me,
30th.
back with me on the 24th.
yes.
That'd be the third reading.
That'd be the third reading.
Well, yeah.
And then the motion to adopt. And it's not that council doesn't care what the neighbors think, but that man has property rights as well.
Yeah.
So.
But you guys changed
most
zoning without,
always, adjacent property owners are upset when someone builds a house on a lot of issues.
the house is fine. We're okay with a single unit. But it's the apartments, you can call it a double unit or whatever, it's an apartment.
I'm hearing two objections. One is traffic, and the other one is that it's traffic related, which is unimproved alleyways or like a road or whatever going through that.
Yeah, well, the
That
road's
building.
already there.
But the plan for it has access alley coming off of Romulus to an existing alley. So that will all be paved and improved to proper specifications
So you'll
by
be-
the developer.
So you'll be taking out the neighbor's yard that's go out because he's built on the alley. If the alley goes to Romulus, because Romulus only goes to the alley. And then it goes
This would be on the gentleman's property that he owns.
He's not going to do anything on anybody else's property.
Okay, with the, even with the people putting the alley in, or isn't the towns, the alley, the towns? Right? I mean, I assume that alleys were part of the town, but the alley's going, somewhere.
According to a plan that I see here, it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Once it is put in place, then it becomes a public space. It becomes part of the roadways that the village would maintain.
Okay, so you're putting the alley in where it's supposed to be put in, right?
On that property.
Which would be on, I don't have, Trevor's property. I don't know his last name. He lives in the house next to me.
It will not be on anybody else's property.
Well, he has had a fence there for 25 years because it wasn't in a shed and trees. So that will all have to come out.
I think we need to see this on.
I don't know that.
Listen, essentially, whatever he develops on his property will be on his property with the proper setbacks and all the specifications. So any objection on like traffic and easements and all that will be worked out when it's developed.
Yeah.
So then the other objection is it's an apartment versus a single family home.
4 apartments or 2 apartments.
It would be two duplexes, 4 apartments.
4 apartments.
Just the market as it is today for housing is, I mean, not what it used to be whenever, single family homes were the thing. So market forces are going to dictate to him, how he's going to develop that. That's up to the developer. He owns that property, so.
But you guys changed the zoning.
So
You're
we
in process,
intend to,
you're
yeah.
in process of changing the zoning.
We intend to.
So it goes from commercial to satisfy him because he owns that land.
He asked us to
Right, so,
rezone it, and so we're
yeah.
considering it.
Because it's less impactful to the community than a commercial development would be.
If Dollar General were put back there, then traffic would be a larger impact.
I'm done. I'm frustrated. Thank you. Appreciate you letting me talk.
Thank you. So, does anyone else want to talk about this issue? Public hearing of rezoning.
It's separate issue. Are we allowed to inquire about?
This is a public hearing. Give us a minute. We're going to go into council.
Is it related to this?
It's zoning by our house, is not by their house, it's a different. Sorry.
This discussion, we're gonna talk about this.
Okay, is there anything else? Then do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
And that was.
A second?
What was the date on the meetings that we have left where I can bring everybody with me?
The 13th would be the next planning and zoning BZA.
And I think though Brian pointed out though, that since it's already moved to council.
It doesn't matter.
So the planning and zoning meeting, so long as, and it is at 7 this Thursday. And then the next
Would be the next council meeting.
which would be the 24th.
Yes.
On the floor at 7:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Do I have a roll call for closing the public hearings? I have a first and a second.
Brandy, the motion, I seconded.
Oh, okay. McCurry,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Okay, do we need a break before council starts?
You're gonna, so you're gonna open the meeting at 7:36?
We're gonna open the meeting, the council meeting at 7:36 of the word craft, please.
Our who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call.
I would like to,
Roll call.
yes, roll call, please.
Cosgray,
Present.
Foreman,
Present.
Keller, Litz,
Present.
McCreary,
Present.
Schaffner.
Rick, can I have the approval of the minutes of the June 26th, 2023 meeting, please?
Makes a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Do I have a second? Roll call?
Foreman
Yes.
and McCreary,
Yes.
Schaffner, Litz.
Abstain.
Oh, yeah. Keller
Yes.
and Cosgray.
Yes.
Alright, do I have approval of the agenda, please?
I move we approve the agenda for tonight.
Foreman seconds.
Roll call?
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Schaffner.
All right, do we have any visitors that would like to address the council, please?
We live at 309 North Boswell,
And you are?
Chelsea Turley, and Tech Voucher. We own a house there, and there's an alley right beside us, dead end alley, that I am hearing that it may be reopened, just kind of wondering where it is in the process. And
We haven't discussed that alley yet. I believe it is supposed to be an open alley from my understanding, but we haven't addressed it yet.
just keep an eye out for when we'll address that, we can come back and talk about it as homeowners.
You're welcome to give us your opinion then.
Well, our neighbor is also here.
And you are, ma'am?
Patricia Mathias, and I live beside the alley also, and there's a barricade that's at the end of our driveway. And anyway, that alley's been closed for, I guess, a very, very long time. It was closed because it was used as a little raceway. And they put that barrier there to stop that. Now, I've talked to all my neighbors and they are willing to come in here also because they do not want that alley open, because we have children that play, and if it would be open, it would go up and around their house. They got little, we got children here that play. And also, I mean, the cost of opening up this alley, you would have to redo the whole entire thing because it's in such bad shape. It doesn't make sense what the need for that is in the first place. I mean, the cost of that, we have sidewalks that needs fixed besides an alley being open. I mean, there's some sidewalks you can hardly walk on.
And your address, ma'am?
It's 1314 West Maple Street. And we have several more neighbors that would come in that, how they feel about it also, because I've talked to them and they strongly disagree on opening this out.
And Chelsea, what's your address again?
309 North Plaza.
When you say they are gonna open the alley, who is they?
What we've been
Just
told,
her,
it's going to be, it's considered an open alley, and if that's the case, it's going to need to develop all the way up to
Yeah. I mean,
Plaza Park.
Well, as we had a discussion earlier about some other alleys in town, alleys are kind of like low man on totem pole. So,
My thought is if it don't go nowhere, why, it's. I
I'm not
can show
really
you
sure,
some
I'm not
over
really
here.
sure why it's being open, because they did not
benefit.
benefit anyone. And not sure why it's happening now, since the house is so old. And like it doesn't get plowed in the winter, it doesn't get taken care of, it's very, very old and
And we,
falling apart.
I mean, we have taken care of the drive ourselves. I mean, we put gravel in, you know, we maintained it and everything. I mean, it doesn't, I mean, nobody's offered to do that.
And it goes up beside our house and then over to Maple, and there's a barricade right there. So you can't get over to Maple, and that's their, they
That's
use it as a
our-
private drive.
Yeah.
To have it reopened, I'm not, I mean, there's
There's
no.
like a
there
big
that it
fence
would-
there, I mean, and how close it would be to my next door neighbor garage. I mean, I just don't see how they're gonna do that.
okay, we will take that in consideration. If the alley situation comes up, we will contact you guys. Okay,
It's good.
It sounds as though you're using the alley.
That's access to the road.
Right. So you don't really want us to abandon the alley.
We would like it to be abandoned.
I mean,
Does it go
it
I
just
mean,
goes,
it
past another person's property before it gets to
they're not gonna abandon it, because the sanitary runs the turnstile.
Right. So again, there's confusion between an abandoned alley, an improved alley, and an unimproved alley. Yours sounds like an improved alley. It just isn't a through alley.
Right.
And the village has no intentions of making it through alley as far as I know.
Okay.
So nothing's really going to change from its current status, although there has been complaints about someone parking on the lot.
yeah.
So other than that,
Well, other people would park there.
I mean, I don't know firsthand what's going on there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that other people park there, no problem, you know, nothing was said.
It seems to be
But,
before
but
we
when
have
they
been,
parked there, it was an issue,
which,
which doesn't make
I'm
any
not-
sense. Like he drives a vehicle, a work truck. And he was just parking it all the way to the top,
At the end, I will.
at the end of the alley, which was not.
No one needs to get past you to get anywhere.
Yeah,
So what's the problem?
yeah, what is the problem? But the sheriff came out to her.
The easement is supposedly the brown house you got in his house.
we're just getting answers
Now
on
I'm
that.
I'm in the dark because everybody else knows everything, and I'm just kind of like,
We
Some
weren't
bits
told
and pieces of
anything really about the parking until an officer drove up behind me, and it was parked there for maybe 10 hours. The other day I was working from home, and if anybody needed to go to the end of the alley, I don't know what is a gentleman back
There's
there.
nothing back
I would
there.
have been home and I was told that my car was going to be towed and I would get a ticket. At that point, no one had officially told us and come to us and said, you can't park any cars up here. There's no parking signs. There's nothing back there. It doesn't even, it doesn't, there's not even a sign that says dead end alley.
And there's
I
been
think-
people parked there.
And before we moved in there, she lives right there too, and people parked there, no problem. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of that problem and why it's such an issue now. And we kind of want to talk about what we're allowed to do. And if it's going to be an alley, I mean, yeah, if you want to redo that alley right there, and I mean, we have
It's
no,
gonna cost a lot of money.
so we're just,
We'll look into the situation. We appreciate you guys coming.
But are they allowed to park at the end of the
That's
alley?
another situation I don't really know. Oh, no, they're not allowed.
I'll cloud that a little bit. So what happened was we had a resident came to council and complained about that there is an easement that is roughly in the area of where, and as such, they said that they have a right to use that. True, it's their easement. And they made a complaint that the issue, I think, was the size of the vehicle versus anything else. So, some research was done. Council gave due diligence to that, determined that it was a alley, and it is illegal by ordinance to park anywhere in an alley, period. So once it came back to us, we were told to enforce it, and that's what we're gonna do.
Is there gonna be like signs put up so everyone?
It doesn't have to be signs put up. It's by
So that
ordinance.
anybody that was parking there, then they could possibly get a ticket.
Here's what I will tell you. If someone calls us and there's a car blocking that alley, we have to take enforcement action. It's not like, gee, we drive around looking at alleys to write tickets, because trust me, we don't. But now that that's been brought to our attention, to council's attention, we have a certain liability at this point if we don't take some kind of action. So that's what this all came from. And again, by ordinance, it is illegal to park in an alley. So whether it's you or, somebody visit, I mean, whatever. I mean, at that point, we're going to have to take some sort of action. Now, that action can be from as simple as running a license plate, knocking on a door and saying you can't park here. Or somebody says, hey, they're visiting this house over here, and knocking on the door and saying, hey, can you move your car? But if we can't locate anybody and we have a complaint, then it may come down to we have to remove the car.
I just wish I would have been told that before I came out to be in the situation I was in, I guess. No one came to my door and knocked on my door and told me. And I was also told that if I wouldn't have come out of my house at that point, he was getting ready to fill my car, and I was home. And we had, at that point, had no knowledge of it was actually a loan. So I guess we were trying to get confirmation of that, which is fine. We're doing improvements on our lot to make more parking. It was just, if that's an alley, do alleys get taken care of like the roads? Or, I mean, that's a terrible alley.
You're asking them.
That's just really great.
A topic that we're currently having. It's an ongoing conversation that and if you were here earlier, you would have heard, it is something that we are discussing. Alleys, three different.
Access to our driveway if that alley was improved. And then we were worried because we were supposed to be open fully and.
I don't think it's gonna be open fully, it is an alley and they're going to be making sure that people aren't parking in the said alley.
Any alley.
So that was the big issue.
So what about all the campers up on through there? If that's an alley and whatever.
Well, that's what they're saying. That part that goes past where you were parked at, they're saying that they don't have any intention of
So just getting to that.
doing anything with that. They're not going to open it straight through. So,
We have no plans. Okay, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Anyone else want to address the council? Mr. Ellis?
Nope.
No? Mr. G? You good? Okay. Well, the mayor report. I'm new. I don't have anything to say. I've already sworn in Miss Tammy Litz for the interim council member. I don't believe I have anything. How do you sign anybody to the fire board? Have I signed what? Anybody to the fire board? I have not signed anyone to the fire board. I'm kind of going to wait about another month or so. Okay. Any other questions? The village administrator report, please.
Yes, I passed this out to everyone and I'll have more available if anybody wants them. Parks and pools. Obviously, we're busy. This is our busy season. We're taking care of all the park, cemeteries, and pool. Brian Biller is also taking care of the pool with two co-managers over there. Some pool improvements from the Fairfield Foundation. We purchased 2 aluminum bleachers. Those are for swim meets over there. And also came across the original plans, design and plans for the improvements over there. So we're going to stick as close to that. I will tell you this, since the time that whole process started, prices have increased on several of the items that were budgeted for, but we're going to do our best with that. Mosquito spraying, I felt like this is probably a good place to put this on the report. They're going to increase it to every 2 weeks instead of every week, or I'm sorry, every month. The reason for that is we've received numerous complaints here in the village, and they've received them at the health department too as well from the Baltimore area. So we're going to do our best to keep that down. North Granville Street begins on Wednesday and Thursday this week. Bless you. And we put the notice for that on the water bill this time, not just the other day. So hopefully people will open those bills before Wednesday or Thursday and see that we're starting there. Brown, Fremont, Kumar, we've been talking with V3. Brian, I think you got the advertisement for that one. And so that's in the process of bids open on August 4th for that. We talked about the alleys. I'm not going to mention anything further on that, but the map is in the back along with a list of abandoned some ordinances that where we abandoned some alleys as well. Water department, we do get complaints about the water. We continue to. Some of it's the color, some of it's the smell. We have problems there, and we're trying to correct those. We have an assessment schedule, and I'll get into the assessments further in just a minute. On July 25th, Rural Community Assistance Partnership representative Feynman Roberts will be here. He's the same one who did our wastewater, but he's going to do our facility assessment there. Let's jump down to wastewater. Elijah T, who's been with us a grand total of a month.
No,
Not even
2 weeks.
2 weeks. I'm trying to remember all this because when people talk about the water, I can't help but think I've been here 2 months. Scott's been up at the treatment plant for 3 months. Elijah's been there for a month, and we're hiring a guy on Monday who is 0 time and grade. So we're getting the right place in play, right people in place. Give us a little time. I guarantee you're going to get better water. We've got some other things going on with RCAP too that we talked about as well. During that flex time, we'll call it, when Operator T hadn't started with us, I want to tell you that we had several staff members from the water plant and from streets department. They all pitched in and did everything they could to try to keep that plant from literally going underwater, literally. RCAP assessment, I've given you all a copy of that. There already have been some noticeable improvements. I expect he'll want to go to the facility when he comes here on the 25th. Like I said, we have a second operator starting on the 17th. On the 18th, the company is now called Veolia, but it's formerly Suez. They're the people who built that facility for us. They're coming out for 3 days to meet with our operators so they can understand better the plant and what it's supposed to be doing for us. Code enforcement and zoning. Faith Rogers is doing a great job for us. We're going to follow up with some things over in Pleasantville. I met with the mayor over there last week, so we're going to follow up with that. I think we said enough about zoning tonight. Anybody want to hear more about zoning? We're trying to do the best we can with that. Tree commission, there's a list of trees there that they've recommended for removal. One of these I know at North Main is a fairly dangerous tree. They did take one down over on Ronda's. There was another one that was big and took them a little while, but they got that one removed. Just so everybody knows, who may not know, we don't just take down trees to take down trees. These are trees that are either diseased or otherwise create a hazard. Some of them have already split. Some of them are in danger of doing that, and it's to protect the part of the infrastructure, which is our electricity, and also protect property. So that's why those trees come down. On May 8th, I don't remember if I shared this with council. If I didn't, I apologize. Our siren was checked by county EMA. Our siren is our emergency siren is what I'm talking about. It's capable of working for us now, but they did say that in the future, we might want to budget for a siren. Okay. I did receive a call from a resident last week about fireworks. Actually, I think we got more than one call about them. This particular resident expressed concerns about the village passing an ordinance because the Ohio Revised Code does allow municipalities to further the code from what the state code is, meaning you can restrict fireworks in your own municipality. So just for consideration, BDRC, the window replacement quotes, we've settled. I know that it wasn't the lowest, it wasn't the highest, but the finish on the interior will be a lot better. That oak finish on the interior of those windows. And I'm following up with Brick Homes as a representative at Rosati, and we'll see if we can't get that project started this year yet. This happened a month ago, maybe. We had some damage done to our asphalt over to our water treatment facility, and contacted the individual. He did not seem to want to follow through on making good on repairing that asphalt, and so we're probably going to go ahead and do it and bill him for that. I will tell you this, Mr. Faco, you'd be interested in this probably. Pineapple Pools LLC. What is it? State Secretary of State, I believe, where they list LLCs, right? There's no record of that company there under his name, but he advertises himself as Pineapple Pools LLC.
So what's the connection? Is that the gentleman who damaged the asphalt?
Yes. Sorry, I should have mentioned that.
Kind of lost.
Sorry, I go too fast sometimes. The holdup at the pool with the security concerns has to do with the speed of the Wi-Fi that's available and whether or not we want to upgrade. ABC gave us a quote that included a wireless connection for the security system. It's just, all told, it's just under $7,000 for the entire package. That's if you go with the cameras and the security system. I think I'm getting some looks that tell me that's a lot of money for that type of, yeah. So ABC is great. They do a great job for us. I talked to Sean a little bit about whether or not we could back off of much there, and there's really not. With that product, there's really not. But if any of you have any information that you want to pass on to us about maybe a product, if you use one yourself, or if you know a vendor that we might be able to reach out to, please.
Spectrum or a wireless connection?
That was the difference. Spectrum, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, they would have to upgrade the system over there.
Well, Spectrum's not even over there. I mean, at the
There's
pool.
a
That's Frontier.
two-line phone or something over there.
That's just a phone for the pool because we're required to have one.
It's called Frontier.
It's Frontier. It's Frontier. I know that 2-3 years ago, I know we checked about the possibility of changing it to Spectrum and adding Wi-Fi, and they wanted like us to pay like $7,500 to $10,000.
In our recent discussions with Spectrum, was it
I
Spectrum?
don't think we brought up this to them at our recent.
Well, they weren't encouraging otherwise, but
yeah.
So
I've run cameras through Frontier before. I didn't have any problem with camera with the security.
I think it's the
I
speed.
did have problems, but it wasn't with those two. It was with point of sale and credit card processing. So I'm not sure why you wouldn't be able to operate the security and the camera on Frontier, because I don't.
Well, we probably could. I don't. I think we just have.
My understanding is it's too slow to handle both at the same time. So you're talking
Security
video?
doesn't really operate except when you're closed. The cameras would operate all the time. And I had, I believe, 8 cameras operating on a Frontier connection.
Okay.
And I didn't have any problems. And more importantly, there was a DVR. So I really
You could capture it.
If I wasn't able to log into the cameras remotely, that didn't matter, because if an issue happened or if something happened, I could still go and pull the video from the DVR, which covers ours from a standpoint of theft or somebody floating in the pool on Monday morning or whatever. So I don't.
Which
know.
kind of reinforces my idea that maybe we need to talk, ABC does a great job for us, and they've been good to us, but maybe it's just not, we're not needing that level of a product. So maybe there's another product out there that, sure, yes.
In the VFW, we have fund here too. We have 16 cameras, but we have 2 lines, so, you know, we pay for 2 lines.
And when I said 2 lines, I meant there were 2 wires. It's not a dual line of.
Getting another line that's dedicated to the high speed might not be that big a deal.
Frontier is probably who she contacted.
Thank you. We'll do that. That's all I have.
Is that it, sir? How about this one?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the timeline looking like for Washington Street from the American Rescue Plan?
That just got,
Well, just Brian.
I can answer that because I got an email today and I updated the county on it. See if I find it. It was, I can pull my email because let me pull up my email.
And just as a matter of record, like what are the steps? Like why is it taking so?
Well,
Government, that's right.
basically, a lot of it has to do with the changeover from VAs. It just was, I started pushing it in January.
We had no village administrator from.
No, I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. It's just one of those things where during the transition we was going through from October to now, it just got lost in the shuffle. Let me find. That was 2 weeks ago. What am I doing?
While he's looking for that, I will tell you this. You're right. We didn't have a village administrator, but you've got a brand new one now. And this has not been my forte. So I rely on Brian quite a bit when it comes to these kinds of projects and communication with B3 and with the county.
Okay, here it is. All right, we're gonna set from Washington Street and water line improvements, as well as the East Monroe. We got 2 grants from the county, one CDBG, one with the ARPA monies. East Monroe, and both of them are gonna, bid advertisements are gonna go out on July 27th, bid openings on August 3rd, bid openings on August 18th for the Washington Street project. Council will award the contract on the last part of August. And the project will get started. We're looking at shortly after that, and the project will be completed by April next year. So you're 2024.
And then what is that? I know there's a deadline as to when we have to have it completed.
No, the deadline is to spend those kind of monies as the end of next year. But you can continue to spend money beyond it. They just have to, the money has to be obligated. So all the money has to be tied up in some type of with purchase orders by the end of next year. And you have 2 years after that to pay for those. So,
So that should significantly, help the water problem. Is my understanding.
yes, because the way I understand it, this project, we're going to have 2 main lines, one on Market here, and then one on Washington. So it should help immensely.
Over time, it
Over
may
time.
disrupt it during the process.
Yeah.
I count on that.
But yeah, you're looking at, we're going to be advertising for bids at the end of this month.
And how long do you think that would take? Like the whole process.
Well,
When would you anticipate it being completed? In 2024?
Yes, it'll be finished in April 1,
April 2024.
April 1, 2024.
Perfect, thank you.
This is another project, right? This is different from what you're talking about.
This is for the Brown Coomer Fremont Street.
And some of the dates are really close. So that might be part of the confusion too, because there are different projects going on.
East Monroe's getting a new water line too, and that's through the county too. It's with part of this community development block grant, CDBG, and we're going to be advertising those at the same time with the Washington Street.
Right.
And that project should be finished by the end of December of this year.
Oh, okay.
Word should have substantial.
That's for that, but I'm talking
Yeah.
about, I'm reading,
that.
this is the East Monroe project.
Okay.
Maybe I'm the only one confused.
Can I ask a quick question? Sure. So I was just curious, with all of the comments and such that have been flying out there regarding water, are there, I don't want to assume, but is there a schedule where at different points throughout the village that water is drawn and tested on a regular basis? So we have multiple point checks that we can compare the data.
That's part of the process every day.
Okay, that we're gonna make sure, because I would be interested to see different points in the village and comparing
And I
those
believe even
studies and results.
with the brown water that's happened, that they've been checking and that it's okay.
I'll tell you this, that myself and Scott Oliver have, when we've gotten calls about the water, we've gone out to the homes. And at one point, we flushed over on Coomer, we flushed the hydrant until the water cleared. And the other places we tested water, you know, we haven't found anything. I mean, it is discolored and there are concerns, but I know it doesn't look good, but the water's safe. It's not like it's.
I guess I'm just thinking in terms of location, the different points in the village, what are the differences? Are we seeing it in more concentrated in certain areas of the village versus
It's situational. That's the problem.
what
It's situational because when one of the examples that I have is when we started cleaning the membranes at the wastewater plant, we had to access a hydrant to do that. When we accessed that hydrant, it started to flush the system, which I think I told some of you, it stirred up some of the sediment that was in the lines. So, and when we talked about a directional flushing process that we're going to work with RCAP to develop, and probably there's a third party who can do it. It doesn't cost us anything. I can't remember which one of them it is right now, so I'm not going to say. But once that starts, then that will clear those lines relatively completely. And with the new lines going in, you'll have a separation of flow for different parts of the village. So we can isolate it a little bit better that way. But there's a lot of things that can cause it, unfortunately.
Fire last night may cause it because
It did.
you don't just flush the hydrant when you
Right.
fire, you literally suck the water out of there. So it probably knocked a lot of stuff loose.
But just to make sure that we're clarifying anything, at no time in these recent weeks, there have not been any tags that have had to be hung to
No.
people.
No.
Boil alerts.
No boil
Okay,
alerts.
that's
No.
what I want to make sure everybody's understanding.
Now I will do this.
Okay, thank
There is a route, if you will, or a process of how these samples are taken.
Mhm.
And I can get that for you. I can provide that.
No, again, it would be interesting to see, so are the people.
That's what I mean.
around There
Yeah.
versus here, is water similar, I'm sure not.
Yeah, the water collection points, I'll get with Scott tomorrow.
So big picture down the road, say, within like this time next year, after those lines are in and we have a schedule for directional flushing and, you know, the infrastructure is more sound than it is today. The hope is that these issues will resolve themselves. We're basically fixing it.
Yes.
Once, because we've got the permanganate thing figured out, we've got the water treatment plant figured out, we get the infrastructure flushed out, new infrastructure built, so there's no dead ends, without loops, we can circulate the water and flush the hydrants to get the water distribution system to a state where it's
Yes.
Looking good.
That's the plan. But there's caveat to it. It's going to cost us money. I think we've spent quite a bit of money this year already on improvements over the plant. Now, I'm going to defer to that assessment that's going to happen at the plant on the 25th, and we'll see what he comes back with. I can tell you there are some facility concerns. There's some things that need to be improved just in the facility. But there's also the process, which I think if I had to balance it, that's more important to get that taken care of first than to worry about whether or not the walls need to be cleaned and painted and dug out and waterproofed and those kinds of things. But we're working on it. I hope,
How many wells are we operating on today?
I think,
We're up to 2 now.
I think so, yeah. And that was,
I know we didn't want to bring another one online until we straightened out what was even plant, get that chemistry right. But they have added one at this.
yeah, and it has to do with the brine tank. It has to do, there's a couple of things going on. And again, I wish I was a water guy, but I'm not.
Dylan started today there.
Yeah, Dylan's signed there today. He's water operator 1. Of course, Scott is water operator 2. So, and that's their mission. They know it.
I've heard through the grapevine that Missy has a list of non-working water meters. So now we got 2 people on there, or we're gonna be able to address that.
We should.
Okay.
We should. And I will say this, the operator that we're bringing in out the wastewater plant, and that's his mission, but that guy has a lot of experience in a lot of other areas. He's got experience in leak response out on the streets, and he knows meters too. So we may have as many as 2 or 3 people working on that at a time. Yeah, I know there's a number of the Badger meters that need to be replaced, I believe. Yeah.
Anything else for this fiscal officer?
I don't have nothing else. I don't have anything else. I don't have anything to add.
Mr. Solicitor,
3 pieces of legislation on for second reading. None of them carry emergency language. The resolution for the special use agreement for the Baltimore Festival, that can go to a 3rd reading, which would be on the 24th. Festivals right after that. So just an FYI. So if by chance we don't have a quorum of council people at the next meeting, then that would be an issue for the Baltimore Festival folks. So no legislation on for a 1st reading, none on for a 3rd reading. I would ask for a motion to go into executive session after regular business, brief executive session to discuss land acquisition matters. And that's all.
okay, any questions for the solicitor? And I'm sorry, I missed the young lady in the back. Would you like to talk to the council? I didn't.
Oh, they did. Okay, all right. Let's have some committee reports. The finance report, please.
Okay, we had a meeting tonight. We went over the finance. Everything looks good. Of course, it's a half a year and everything's below the 50% expenses. And so everything sounds good, looks good. Next meeting's August 14 at 6 o'clock.
Yes, sir. How about the service?
Service did not meet tonight. Our next meeting is the 24th at 6 p.m.
Thank you, sir. About the safety?
Yes, Mayor. Safety did not meet this evening. We will also be meeting on the 24th, June 24th, following service approximately 6:30 to 6:45 that evening.
And thank you. And then the rules committee.
Rules Committee met tonight. Everyone was present except Ms. Litz. We discussed performance reviews and delegated administrative job duties. Both of those are kind of tabled until people get a little more acclimated to their jobs. Our next meeting is August 14th after the finance.
Okay, thank you. Police department, please.
Thanks, Mary. I have 6 items I want to talk briefly about. One of those, I'm going to ask for an executive in regard to possible litigation. The first is the 3 SROs are leaving this weekend to go to Cincinnati. They'll be there the entire week. They'll be certified when they get back as school resource officers. And what that does for us is obviously it gives them a lot better training, things to know to do. But should there ever be any sort of an incident, it also helps to protect the village from liability because we have supplied the training, make sure they're trained properly. Another thing with that, those are $400 class, and we have to get this paid for with grant money, so that it costs the same thing. And the room also was in the grant, so paid for that. Rooms. Deputy Chief Officer Laner are working on the second watch. They overlap, And so 7 days a week, we now have coverage and in the hours, and we've been fighting to get that for a long time. Along with that, we've seen a real upturn in just, I can't put my finger on it, it's all kinds of calls. We've had 6 physical arrests in the last 7 days. And they are all and things of that nature. Number 4, I'm going to hold for executive. Currently in the final planning stages of the festival, we're working out assignments for the parade and also security on the grounds. I think I brought up also, we had gotten information, one of our officers had come to us and said that they had been offered a position with a Franklin agency after thinking about it. They came back and let us know that they declined that job and they're going to be staying with us. So that's really good for us. And just to VA, what he was talking about, we got blasted on these fireworks. I mean, people were beside themselves over these fireworks. So if that's something for things that we should look into, I would certainly some action on that. They were, some of the stuff that was being set off was like the ground mortars, like you see at the big, and that has no business in between houses being set off. That's crazy. Plus, that stuff people understand, it goes up, it's still burning when it comes down. Well, now you've got this burning stuff on top of people's houses, you have it in trees. I mean, it's just a miracle we didn't set something on fire. So with that, that's all I have.
Thanks, sir. I've not appointed anyone to the Boswell Joint Fire District yet. So I don't have a report. Village committees, planning and zoning, do you have anything to add?
No, not at this time.
No. Tree commission, is there anything more to be said about that?
List of trees I put in my report, those are the ones that are coming down.
Perfect.
There'll be some more.
And I don't have anything from the records commission.
That's something we need to talk about when you're in the office.
Okay.
Hey, Jeff,
Yes.
I got a question for you. We haven't really met, but I can't remember who else on the committee. I know you are.
Yes.
Myself.
Correct.
The VA.
What is this?
Records Commission. Mayor or
No,
no?
I don't believe the mayor's on the.
Well, Barb was. I guess how many do we have to have?
I'll have to take a look at my notes and see how many we've had on there in the past and whether we need to appoint additional people.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah, we haven't met for a couple years, and I know I've had a list ready for, to go over to review.
I'll check my notes and get with you this week.
Okay.
The last I remember, you were working on a list of records.
And I give that to the former mayor. And it,
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get with you on that.
okay.
All right. Do we have any motions?
I move that we go into executive order, Bradford Council, and ordinance and resolution for litigation with everybody here.
Yeah. And potential litigation. I'm sorry, potential litigation and land acquisition.
Yeah.
I knew there's something else.
Do we need a roll call for that?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes. All right. Ordinances and resolutions, and I'll have the first reading, the second reading, Schaffner, please.
Yeah, this is a resolution that we do every year, allowing the use of Johnson Park and its various facilities.
I think just based on what Jeff just said, I will go ahead and make a motion to suspend the 3 reading. And
Do I have a second on that?
I second
Do we need a roll call? Roll call, please.
Schaffner
Yes.
and McCreary,
it. Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Cosgrave.
Yes.
Right, and, then I will move to adopt resolution 2023-10.
I second it.
All in favor? Oh, roll call, please.
You can ask for discussion.
Oh,
Yeah, now you can discuss.
all right. Is there any discussion on it?
Okay, Schaffner,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Cosgrave,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Litz.
Yes. Adopted. Resolution 2023-10 has been adopted. Ordinance 2023-11, Mr. Foreman.
This is just going on for third reading. I don't recall what this was regarding.
16,000 for something.
That was to pay V3 to do the.
Engineering services for the OPWC project. Yes.
Yeah, it'd be nice if there was the cliff notes on these. I did, the cliff notes are missing.
Brian, does it need to be?
Ah.
On emergency basis?
And previously it was not, and that it was in appropriations, and I was preferring that it go through.
Yes, it can go to the third reading because, yes, it can.
Okay, we're gonna-
Move on to the next one.
All right, ordinance 2023-12, the rezone to Ms. McCreary, please.
Yes, Mayor, this ordinance is regarding conversations we've been having in session for the last couple of meetings, but it's about rezoning 0 North Main Street from general business to mixed residential, which is heavy. And this is the second reading.
We don't have any third readings. We don't have any tabled ordinances. Do we have any old business?
I have something that was brought to my attention that is bothering me. We were made aware of a $72,000 water bill at the paper mill, and we were led to believe that it was because our water cost for bulk is too high. We were misled in that we were not made aware that part of the reason the water bill was so daggone high was that they left the water on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for an extended period of time. And that someone had told them they should shut it off, but they didn't until they got the water bill, and then they reassessed how they were doing the dredging. Another issue that really is kind of we need to at least look at, and I have no problem, I certainly don't want the paper mill to, it's an important part of our whole revenue structure, but the sales of bulk water usually assumes that you're putting it in a truck and hauling it out of the village to fill a pool or something like that, and that you're not going to have to then treat it at the sewer plant. But this particular bulk water, we are absolutely treating at the sewer plant. We're not charging for the sewer charge. So I just think that, one, we were misled, and two, that use of that bulk water and the fact that we have to process it at the sewer plant ought to be a part of the upcoming negotiations for our renewal of our contract with Brown.
That's
Right. And so I'm not happy about being misled on that cause of that. Not full disclosure. Yes.
I need,
I have omissions for.
I need to ask this question. Did I have anything to do with that? As far as the misleading information?
You were probably relaying the information you were given.
Okay.
Because I don't know how you would possibly know the fire hose was left on all night.
I didn't.
Multiple times.
I didn't.
Right. And so, yeah, they were only using it 8 hours a day, but they were leaving it on all the time.
And Rick, this has been substantiated.
I have no way of substantiating it. I was told it by a person.
Or anything.
We should ask the question. Maybe
Well, probably a good way to figure it out would be to determine how much flow from that meter. And that's what we use to calculate.
That's what we use to yeah.
And then go back and say, okay, well, how, if, and I know the fire department does this all the time. How much water is going to flow through that hydrant, through that hose on any per hour, per minute. Per hour.
Able to easily tell
Yes,
whether that is true
I think we need to do
from
that.
the data.
Yes, to answer your question, yes, we use the data from that meter to tabulate the bill invoice
We're
for.
going to check the total. That was gallons that was charged.
Last year was like in excess of 3 million gallons of water.
I'm sorry, what?
In excess of 3 million gallons of water.
And do we know if it's the same process, like did they leave? That would be interesting to compare this year.
It would be interesting to compare last year.
This year they're not done. We won't-
Especially since the manager over there was the one who approached us about, I have the emails, he approached us about not charging them the full rate.
And he was new from 1 year to the next year. I think they've changed managers.
I don't
between
know.
2020.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
I'm dealing with the
He's
same.
been there, but I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any new business? Visitors, do we have anything else you want to add to the conversation? All right, let's go.
How many gallons?
We have to go into executive session. We're asking the visitors to please leave.
I need to turn things off.
Thank you for coming.
I basically need to turn things off. See if I find my
I just need a
mouse.
break.
Well, maybe.
We should be out of here by midnight.
Usually
Yours gonna take a while.
we're gonna close the session.
I've got to mention.
We're gonna end, so nothing will be on. But
So
if we need to, huh?
I don't have a council president. Run it.
Before we go into the say, maybe you should ask for a motion for new council. That's right. We don't have a council president.
So that should be.
Do I do it in executive session?
No, you can't do
I
that.
was gonna say.
Usually you shut things down. If we come back, I'll just
And
take
it's
over.
open roll call, but it's not that bad. Or council president.
So will we open nominations?
Yeah, you can do that.
So I guess that could be last call before we go into executive session.
So, yeah, and we already shut down.
No, I haven't shut anything down yet.
Okay. We lost some numbers.
Well.
I think like, has to do with this, I think it's the rules, the fence permit ordinance. I think we want to where you can go put it on the fence, on the property line.
Right.
Because it used to be like a foot off, but now you changed it, but then it didn't get. Is it in the?
I don't remember. I remember there being a discussion about it, but I don't recall whether or not that made it into the updated. Yeah.
Amended.
Right, which makes sense, because now you've got people that- Yeah, there you go, trees.
I vaguely remember that being discussed. And, there being.
Remember, we're still being recorded.
That was my recollection. Talking about that. So that's my recollection.
Amanda Snyder.
Hey, boys, who?
I think Amanda Snyder. Before, yeah, we just thought of this. Before we go into last call, we need to vote on a new council president. So before we go into executive session, you want to do that in open forum?
Well, I'm cooling down here. It's 68 degrees. Well, my house is 75. Push the button. I will say this, it also takes the moisture out of the room. So if we don't do that, then your papers are gonna be all curled up. And everything will be damp. How's this for a word? Moist. It'll be moist.
I don't think you're allowed to use that.
I just,
Even Rick over here, I see he's shooting over here. You see him?
I'm stacked and ready for you.
It is cool in there, but I prefer that.
Right, Chris, before we're reading on.
yes, sir.
Me?
I'm sorry, yeah, that's right. So you got a call from, you got a call from Bill Johnson,
You get your fair share.
Yes.
about the tax budget, resolution of the tax budget. And, it's my understanding that that doesn't need to be a public hearing on that. Do we need legislation on it? No. So who determined that? The county did? It's no
The
longer
county.
required?
They finally wised up and,
So did they issue some sort of opinion or a
No.
letter?
no,
That
it's the Ohio Revised Code provides
Okay.
that. They
so-
can waive the budget hearing and all that
I
stuff.
was already
So
thinking,
is that what happened then?
Yeah, they did that last year.
based on
Okay.
what I'm hearing
And,
about
and
the plan, our
do you have
plan.
a copy of that by chance or not? I'm not doubting
They
it, I'm
really
just saying
should be
that
kicking in a little
it kind
more
of caught me
than
by
they are.
surprise. Not that I remember them waiving any requirement for a hearing, but I didn't know about.
They did that last year. Basically, all I have to do is give them of what I think the carryover budget's gonna be.
Person who understands what negotiating on our side.
I can call it.
And I don't believe
They could probably give me the code.
So we're fine. 5705,
Yeah, I don't know.
5705 is
Something. Okay,
the tax budget.
okay, all right. Thanks.
Oh,
We
yeah.
need to open, we need to council president, since I've been moved up. We need to open negotiation or not?
Nominations.
Nominations?
I nominate Chuck Keller.
I'll second that.
You have discussion about it? Roll call, please.
What is this to?
President.
Council president.
Okay.
Why don't,
Well, I'm just thinking, why don't we, do a motion to close nominations?
Oh, that's fine. To close the nominations.
Before we make a motion, we close the nominations for council president.
And I would do a roll call on both of those.
I need a second.
I'll second. Debbie.
And roll call, please.
Okay, this is gonna
This
be,
is to close.
yes,
Or do we do a roll call on
No,
nominations?
no, where this is gonna be to close the nominations. Foreman,
Yes.
Schaffner,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Cosgray.
Yes.
And now I need roll call for a nomination.
Any No discussion?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Keller. Okay, let's. Softer. Okay, so that,
Okay, now executive session?
yeah, as soon as I end this, as soon as I shut us down.
You going, no, the
Hold on, I'm trying to end this thing. It's.
Turn these off.
Oh my. Come on.
It just takes a second.